now that we have our fully executed listing agreement, now what we want to do is go to SkySlope and connect this forms file with our created listing file. So here's how we do that. Right now we're in our forms account. To get back to SkySlope, we want to go ahead and hit that apps button to the left of our name and toggle back over to SkySlope. So now that I have that signed listing agreement, I'm ready to create my property file. And because I'm representing that seller today, I'll be starting here and create a listing. But if I was representing the buyer, I would be starting over here and create a transaction. So let's get that listing agreement submitted, get started here. Now I'm sure you all know this lady. This is Sky. She is our virtual listing assistant, and she's going to help us by pulling information from that forms file over to our property file that we just created, or that we're trying to create. So to begin, we'll go ahead and hit enter the listing. Now here at this phase, we do have the ability to enter in our property address manually, but we just put in so much work creating that forms file. So I want to make sure to sync these two together. Now, your most recently modified forms files will always appear here. You can also search for them specifically by name, but our most recent forms file is right there listed for us. So I'll go ahead and make my selection and hit next question. Our next question is, what office should this listing be under? This is a great question if you are working with a brokerage with multiple areas of operation. Today I'm working out of the Beverly Hills office. Make my selection and hit next. What type of listing is this? This is actually a really important question because this determines the types of documents you need to submit to your checklist reviewing team for approval. So always make sure you're selecting the right one that's been created by your admin team. I'll go ahead and select residential listing and hit next question. Now, how much is this property listed for? As you can see, Sky has already pulled this information in for us because we already entered that onto our forms file. But this is also editable. If you ever need to make a change, you can certainly do so. Now we're at our commission. We'll go ahead, hit percentage. We also have a flat rate option. We also have the ability to add on co-listing agents from this page. So if you work on a team and your team member has a SkySlope account, go ahead, select the Add Co-listing Agent button, and list them as a co-agent. This is going to give them the ability to pipe into this property file from their own account, and you'll be able to work out of the same file, but from your own separate accounts, and still see all the activity happening in real time. But today it's just myself, so I'll go ahead and hit next question. All right, how long is this listing for? As you can see, Sky's already pulled that information for us because we filled that in on our forms files. So we can go ahead and hit next. And then lastly, who is selling the property? Again, Sky's pulled a lot of that information for us. If we want to enter in our phone number information, we can certainly do so. I can also switch to company seller and add on additional parties if there are additional parties involved, but it is just Paul, so I'll go ahead and hit next. So now that we've finished entering in all the information, Sky's gonna have us review what we've entered. And assuming everything looks correct, we're gonna go ahead and hit create my listing. But if anything looks amiss here, we can hit that back button and make any necessary changes. Everything looks real good, so I'll go ahead and hit create my listing. And just like that, we've successfully synced our forms file with this property file. I want to point out that if we visit our Documents tab, that listing agreement that we just got executed is now living here within our Documents tab because we associated this new property file with that forms file. So from here on out, anytime we send a form for signature, that fully executed copy will continue to populate here in our Documents tab, where we can easily select and assign it to the appropriate line item. And we'll always know it's attached because it'll have this little paper clip here indicating so. But if we hop back over to our checklist, we can see the status of that line item has changed from required to in review. So we can be confident that this document has been successfully submitted to the admin team for approval.